Hi, I'm Rick Slark, owner of Slark Consulting Group, where we work hard to make good businesses great. Today, I want to talk about 4 communication tips that will bring a better and more effective communication to your growing business. Thank you for watching. In the life cycles of a business, you have the startup phase where you are searching for your profitable and sustainable market. And it's in that phase that the owner founder handles most of the day-to-day responsibilities. Sometimes there's someone else, but for the most part, it falls on the owner founder. And many of you have experienced that or are experiencing it now. And so then once the business has found its profitable and sustainable market, it begins to grow. And it then in that fun stage, which we call that stage is fun, we begin to mine that market. And we begin to sell and we begin to experience some success financially. We begin to add staff. We begin to create more of our branding opportunities there. And we begin to grow, and it's a fun and an exciting time in the life of a business. But it also, as it continues on, brings with it some complexity. And so the more a business grows and the faster the business grows, the more you have to adjust to that complexity. So let's say, for instance, the owner has been hiring and all of this time, and the owner founder sits down and he understands or she understands the job very, very well, understands the type of person they would like to have for that job. And then in the interview process is able to look at little nuances and take these little nuances and maybe ask for explanation or explain more, and begins to innately learn more about the potential employee. The problem comes then when at some point the owner can no longer do the hiring themselves. And let's say they then have to transition to a hiring manager or a team of people that are going to manage. And then it is the important part of communication from the founder to the team as to what he wants or what she wants in that candidate and in that role. And this is where it begins to get a little sticky in that communication area. And so what I want to dive into today is that area where the owner founder is releasing certain activities and is relying on a team to do it. And that's where the main breakdown begins with communication. And so now I speak to the owner founders and I say, here's a few ways to increase effectiveness in that communication. So the first one would be to own the role. It is your responsibility as the founder to make sure that you are communicating properly. I've seen a lot of owners blame it on the team, blame it on the hiring manager, blame it on someone else. And what I want you to do is today understand that the role of communicating what you want for your business and the vision for your business and for these roles early in this stage is that you are the one that's responsible to communicate with your team in a clear and concise way. And not all managers or not all owners are very good at that. But the first step and first tip is you need to own that it is your responsibility initially. The second thing that we need to do is to identify your main way of communicating. So all of us have a primary way of communicating, whether it's writing, whether it's speaking, whether it's some other form of communication. So identify where you're really good and try to communicate in that way, but also get better at other forms of communication. So if you're really good at writing, then you should be writing this communication, but you should also learn to communicate verbally better and just work on that skill as you get it. So that's the first thing, is to own it. Number two is to identify where you can get better. And you go, well, how do I do that? You ask your team. So where am I as a not effectively communicating to you? Because the second part of that is not everybody receives information in the same manner. So you want to make sure the person that you're communicating to, that you're communicating to them in a way that they are able to really clearly understand what's happening. So at this point in two, you want to just really ask your team how you're doing and what ways you could improve it. And then number three would be to actually improve it, to actually work on and take serious this form of communication, because it's going to pay dividends as you go along. So really, really important is to take the feedback you get and then really begin to work on your communication skills as a responsibility to your team. The fourth thing I would say is that then you should monitor that. Is less information falling through the cracks? Are the people that we are giving the information to receiving it in a way and then able to carry that ball on down the field and make things happen? And so you want to be able to monitor that as well. So the first thing is, again, would simply be to own it as a personal responsibility, that this is my responsibility to really improve communication as a owner founder. Number two is to identify, talk with your team, talk with the individuals that you're giving information to, and asking them how you're doing and how you can improve. Number three is then simply improving. Number four is to then monitor that improvement consistently. And then finally, a little bonus tip is to take the information you glean in these first four steps and train your team then to begin to communicate more effectively to those under them. And so that is a bonus tip. And I hope that these were helpful for you. When you get into the growth stage, complexity it grows at a rapid pace, and communication is one of the most important area that you need to really improve for the growth of your business. If I can help you in any way, reach out to me, leave a comment if this was helpful to you, and we appreciate you listening.